Good morning. I would like to start off today by asking a very simple question, and that is, how are you? I'm sure the answer is very easy. So let me ask you another question, another simple and yet profoundly complex problem. A problem which philosophers have been waiting and trying to answer since time immemorial. And the question is, who are you? Who are you? It's a pretty simple question at the start. You will probably state your name, followed by your profession. I'm a student, I'm a teacher, I'm a dancer, or probably you would be identifying yourself by your values and beliefs. I'm a believer, I'm a free thinker, I'm an atheist. Or probably you identify yourself by the roles that you follow. I'm a father, I'm a daughter, I'm a philosopher, I'm a mentor. Or probably you identify yourself by your accolades. I am a TEDx speaker. Whatever it is, I'm sure these are all man-made constructs. And if we were to remove all these man-made constructs, the simple question becomes a very complex one. Who are you? Because now you have to identify yourself by your core identity. And whenever we talk about identity, we talk about things which are unchangeable, unshakable. We talk about things for which we will never change, where we will be the same given any situation, circumstance, environment, and certainly we will not change over time. And herein lies the problem. Because the truth is quite the contrary. I am here to tell you that we do in fact change. We change. Our identities change. The way we think change. As we evolve and as we change, as we mature. And this is very important. This is very important because once you have this mindset shift, once you have this understanding, suddenly a plethora of ideas and opportunities await you. Ideas and opportunities which were until now out of bounds. And when you have this, you will approach your future with a lot more control, confidence and clarity. So let me give you this mindset shift. And it begins with a thinking bias, a common thinking bias that most of us are affected with. And it is something like this. Whenever we think about our past and we see the journey from our past till now, we know that we have changed. But whenever we see our future, we do not believe that we are going to change any more than what we are today. We think this is who I will be till now, till the end of time. And this is what I would like to call as continuity paradox. And the paradox is, whenever we see our past, we know that we have changed. We acknowledge it and we are comfortable with it. But when we see our future, we do not see ourselves changing. Just pick up an old photograph, any old photograph from your album, and you will see how you used to look. how your choices were, your perspectives, your hairstyle, your lifestyle. But when you look at your future, you do not see yourself changing anymore. In terms of your values, in terms of your perspectives, in terms of your culture, your ethics, your viewpoints, everything is pretty much set. You do not see anything needing any drastic change. And that is something which stops us. This inability to see ourselves changing in the future stops us from becoming who we are, who we truly are. It stops us from realizing our full potential. Because this thinking boxes us in. It puts a limit on our thinking, because whatever is our identity, we do that. Whatever is out of our identity, we do not even consider that. Allow me to break these limits for you, so that you can think of on another level. Allow me to introduce to you Jerry and Stella. The names are changed, but the account is true. Now, Jerry and Stella were high school sweethearts. After their marriage, they settled down in a rural part of the state. Jerry was a basketball coach and Stella was a nurse. And because they were in a rural part of the state, she used to make house visits to care for patients. And many of the patients were very, very ill. They were terminally ill. And she used to come back from these house visits shaken. And she used to tell Jerry, Jerry, promise me that if I ever fall this ill, if I become terminally ill, promise me that you will do nothing to prolong my life. Because I care more about the quality of life than the quantity of life. And Jerry said, okay, Stella, okay. Truth is stranger than fiction. And as life would have it, by the age of, in her late 50s, she began to slur. She began to slur so much that she had to go to a doctor who ran some tests, and she was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS. It is a fatal disease which affects the muscles required to move, speak, eat, and even breathe. The doctor tells her that it is fatal and it is incurable, and there will come a time when you will require a machine to breathe. Stella decides to extract as much joy there is from life, and surely and slowly her condition deteriorates, and there comes a day when she is not able to breathe. She is gasping for air. She is wheeled into the hospital. She is rushed into the hospital, where the nurse asks her, "Ma'am, can I put you onto the ventilator?" And Stella replied, "Yes." Jerry was flummoxed. Jerry was shocked. "Stella, are you sure you want this? Because this is not what you have been telling me. This is exactly the opposite of what you have been telling me. You do not want your suffering to be prolonged. Are you sure of your decision?" And Stella replied, "Yes." Now here lies the first perspective of this continuity paradox, the legal perspective. And that is that if she was wheeled in unconscious and the decision vested upon Jerry, what would Jerry have said? Jerry would have said, "Of course not, let's not put her onto the machine. Let's figure out a way to keep her as comfortable as we can so that she passes away peacefully. What would you have done? And the kicker is that now that you know what Stella has replied, would you have committed a crime? There are no easy answers to this. Let me present to you the second perspective to this continuity paradox. And that is the ethical perspective. Stella, at the age of 39, whatever she said, did not have any idea what Stella at the age of 59 would want. She did not have any idea what gasping for air and fighting for life would mean. For the older Stella, the younger Stella might as well have been a stranger. And when a stranger gets to decide about your fate, that stranger becomes only next to God. You live. You die. You neither live nor die. You stay married. Jokes apart, when we do not have any answers, when we do not know who can decide, how do we take a decision? Allow me to present the third perspective of this continuity paradox. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is the philosophical perspective. This is the perspective which philosophers have been trying to find an answer to. They have been trying to find the answer, and it is called the identity of the entity. The identity of the entity goes something like this. Let's say you were given a car, an ancestral car, and that car has been passed down from generation to generation, and now you are the rightful owner of it. As any proud owner, you love it, you cherish it, and you prize it. But since it has been aging, you have to make some repairs. You have to tend to it, you have to mend it, you have to replace parts. Part by part, metal by metal, bolt by bolt, until there comes a time when the entire car is new, lock, stock and barrel. Philosophers have asked, if the entire car is new, is it still your ancestral car? Probably not. You and I are not much different from this ancestral car because we have changed a lot from where we were till now. Even at a microscopic cellular level, we are changing. Our old cells give way to new cells. And the new cells which take place of the old cells are not the same. They are probably stronger. They are probably more resilient, more adaptive, or probably they are weaker. Whatever the case is, but they are not the same. And so, we circle back to the question I started off with and beget the question, who are you? Are you the same person you were in the past? And more importantly, will you be the same person in the future as well? The continuity paradox prompts us to tell that we will be the same in the future. But now you know clearly that you will be a different person. And this understanding is extremely important because now you can shape your future. You can shape your future to whatever you want it to be. And I have got 3 pieces of advice on how you can shape your future. Number 1, we speak in infinitely, incredibly definitive terms about who we are today. For example, we say, I am an introvert. I can never learn that new skill, ever. I cannot do that. When we speak in such incredibly definitive terms, we leave no room for us or for our minds to take that as a possibility in the future. We label ourselves so strongly that we leave no room for alternatives. Instead, reframe those sentences like this. I cannot talk to people freely yet. I have not learned that skill yet. I cannot do that yet. And when you are able to use this simple reframing, your mind suddenly has the option to learn, grow, and adapt in the future. Use the power of the word yet. My second advice for you to shape your future is to be your future self today. Be your future self now. Because if you are not your future self proactively, then you will become whatever life throws at you reactively. It is like you will be the captain of a ship and you are not at the control. The tides will make your ship go roam around aimlessly. If you have to be your future self, it requires deliberate practice, deliberate habits, and deliberate actions. And these practices, habits, and actions have to be exhibited today. And my third and final piece of advice is this. Proclaim your future identity out aloud. When you proclaim your future identity to people around you, your actions will align with your narrative. You will tend to become your future self intentionally. And when you do these 3 things, use the power of the word yet, be your future self, and proclaim your future identity out aloud, your future self might just look at you 10, 15, maybe 20 years from now and say, thank you. Thank you.